Hey everybody, how's it going? We're here with a timeless reading. First card that we have out is Judgment. I feel like you're weighing something here. Judgment is an assessment. We're looking at something and we're looking at it very closely. We want to make sure that we're not missing out on any details. So this is really taking a moment to be very, very mindful with whatever it is that you're focusing on. It's measure twice, cut once. To have Six of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, this can be like a deal of some sort. It doesn't have to be official like that, but it can be like compensation for a job. It can be, yeah, compensation for a job. It can be something that's expected of you. It can be something that you're expecting of another person. It can be something about values that's being assessed. But it feels like in a specific situation. I don't feel like this is a general, let me think about something vaguely that's then going to apply to something else. This feels like a very specific situation. It can even be like wanting to make sure that something is fair or that you know what you're signing up for. I am seeing the Hanged Man. If this is a time where something needs to be looked at, something needs to be decided, having Hanged Man here can be like, there can be details missing, there can be delays of some sort too. With Neptune, it can be like you think that you pull all of the pieces of paper out of your briefcase and you think you have everything in front of you, and then when you're like turning to walk out the door, you realize that there were two really important pieces that you left in there that needed to be considered that maybe weren't. In an energetic sense, you know, because having Hanged Man here can be like, not everything is all as it seems. And I am seeing Two of Pentacles and I'm seeing Ace of Cups too. So this can be figuring something out that has to do with like a connection of some sort. Having Judgment and having Hanged Man. This is Pluto, which is like, I want to see what's really going on here. I want to see the truth of it. I don't care what it is. I just need to know. It's like that seeking, that desire for clarity, even without preference, like expanding beyond that. And then Neptune is this stuff that's going on that can be kind of foggy, kind of unclear, like what's actually happening here. I'm trying to really get to the bottom of this and figure something out. And to have the Ace of Cups most likely has to do with a connection or something that you're feeling or an opportunity of sorts. But to have a cup here, there's something even emotionally at stake. You can even be trying to figure out like what's being offered to me here. You see this person? Trying to figure out the whole thing. See this thing? It's coming in, it's being offered, potentially. So it can be like, what is this exactly? Like, what does this Ace of Cups entail? I do feel though, having Neptune here, you may look at this situation and be like, I feel like I may not be seeing everything. Like there can even be this little bit of hesitance of like, I don't know what exactly it is, but something's going on here and I need to reassess or I need to reevaluate. As annoying as it can be with Hanged Man, it's like, you'll be happy that you did pay attention to this and look into it. Hanged Man can also, having Judgment and Hanged Man can also be looking at something and seeing where you may be a bit ungrounded too, or unrealistic. Or there could be like some sort of illusion or something that you're projecting onto a situation as well. So that can be there too. Because Neptune can sort of take us into the fantasy space of like, I want it to be like that. But to have judgment, it's like needing to cut through that. Again, cut through even your preferences to see what's actually going on. So it's like you can see this whole scenario playing out with Neptune, and Neptune's like, we can make this whatever you want it to be. We can just create it however, so it can like coincide with this fantasy that you have. But having judgment here, it's like, as much as it's wonderful to be lost in the haze of Neptune, I want to actually see what's happening here and what's going on here. Because it seems like now there's like something serious on the table that you're trying to figure out. Like you actually want to know what's going on. So judgment is going to help shift your perspective, because that's what Hanged Man wants to do. Hanged Man is like, let's retire the old narrative and gain a new understanding. See it differently than I had been seeing it before. So it does feel like some Neptune narrative here is being wiped off. It's like when you're looking through the glasses and it's getting all steamy and fogged up and you can see like a mosaic, but you can't really make out exactly what's going on. And then judgment comes through and like wipes that off. So it's like this Windex moment where you're actually seeing what you're working with, Two of Pentacles. And then I'm seeing Ace of Cups and I'm seeing Three of Pentacles. So this can be like potentially an opportunity to like work with somebody, to connect with somebody. But there's also a need, a desire to be realistic about what this is. Because I feel very, very strongly, I know that we're like driving this point home, I feel very strongly that if you want to get lost in the illusion of this and you want to project a fantasy onto this situation, it's going to be very easy to do that. But us starting off with judgment says you really need to look closely at this, because when Neptune gets involved in a situation, the Hanged Man, what that can mean, because I'm seeing somebody else be involved in this, okay, potentially. What this can mean is that you go along with Neptune and it's like, yeah, this fantasy is really unfolding here, and then it leads you to a tower moment and you're like, how did I get here? And like, this is how you stop that from happening, by actually looking at this and looking at what it is and what it means. Because for some of you, I'm seeing there's potentially you like working with somebody, reconciling with them, or like working on a new connection with them. So for some of you, this may be somebody coming back around and being like, hey, let's try to work things out. For some of you, this can be a collaboration of sorts. It can be a creative project with the cups. Like both of us are really into music. Let's make music together. But generally a new chapter. So even if you know this person, it can feel sort of like you're doing something new with them, or that there's a renewal to the connection even. And I am seeing this Three of Cups. So you can look at this and be like, wow, we're reconnecting again. Like, wow, maybe we're going to be in a relationship again. There can be all of these feelings about it. And like, you guys know, I love a love story just as much as the next guy. You may interpret this as something like that, but I almost get the feeling that something else is going on here. So you may be brought back together with somebody, or brought together with somebody to work with them, or to work on something with them. And at first you can look at it and maybe sort of project your desires or your hopes onto this, and it may ultimately end up having a different purpose than you initially assess. I'm hearing something about temperance, so you may have to wait to even find this out, but it's kind of like hold your horses and don't be judging this as something that it may not be yet. Let's see further what's going on here. Like, I just get the feeling of you maybe thinking it's going to be one way and it's actually something else, possibly. I feel like this is one of those readings where it may not be the most fun reading, but it's like one of the ones that's necessary, where it's like, well, I'm glad that I walked away knowing that. I'm seeing the Emperor and I'm seeing the Knight of Cups. So it looks like somebody's taking it upon themselves to reach out to another person here. I'm seeing Temperance, so this may take a minute to come through. Okay. So Emperor is reaching out and connecting with Queen of Cups. Somebody taking it upon themselves to communicate with Queen of Cups. I'm seeing Six of Swords, which is about moving forward. And then I'm seeing Hermit, which can be like a bit of a recoil too. Like, I need to take this time right now to think about things, to reflect. Six of Pentacles that I was seeing. Okay, so in the beginning, when Judgment first came out, and Six of Pentacles was on the bottom of the deck, it was this moment of needing to look into something and being like, is this fair? Is this balanced? What am I actually going to get from participating in this? It's like, if you enter into this connection, if you enter into this exchange, what are your expectations for it? Is this going to be worth it to you? It's like, if you show up and give all of your energy, what are you expecting in return? And like, be realistic and also be honest with yourself here. Because I'm seeing something about you connecting with somebody over here with the Three of Cups above. So it can be like, if I do hang out with them, if I do connect with them, is there going to be reciprocity, realistically? And as much as we can go into a situation and try to like not have expectations, still knowing your boundaries are important and knowing your values are important too. Because if you're participating in things that are not compatible with your values, you're gonna feel like it's a waste of your time because it's not aligned. Because Pentacles are connected with your energy, like spiritually. So even though it can also have to do with like your time and what you're playing out physically, if you're in a situation that you don't feel like aligns with your values, you are not going to feel valued within that connection. And if you're looking for that type of situation, you're going to be let down. So it's about sort of knowing where you stand beforehand and being like, these are my expectations. Like, does my connection with this person align with that? Like, if I'm looking for this type of interaction and I connect with this person, like, is that going to be compatible, or am I going to be left feeling disappointed? And am I also being honest with myself about this? Because sometimes we can sort of know our expectations, but we don't communicate with them, with the other person, or we have these expectations and it's like, I'll just be hopeful that this will work and it'll meet my expectations, and then it doesn't, and we feel upset about it. We feel disappointed. We feel let down. We feel like maybe we should have spent our time a different way, or maybe should have approached it another way. So this all sort of feels like a bit of a cautionary thing here. I do feel to have Judgment and to have the Emperor, right? This is you looking at something and asking yourself how this is going to affect you on a more long-term even basis. And also having Emperor here can be needing to look at something and make a disciplined decision, like really thinking about yourself and what you have going on within your life. Because I see Emperor being so connected with how a person is running their life. It can be how a person is running their business, which we are seeing Three of Pentacles, so it can be about collaborating with somebody. But it's also about our life and what we have going on, and like who we're inviting into our lives and who we're interacting with and what those interactions look like. And like, am I using my time wisely? Am I happy about the things that I'm participating in? Am I trying to get something from someone that they are not willing to give me, and then I'm ending up frustrated? Am I jumping the gun? Am I like waiting enough? So it's about sort of feeling your way through situations. And I do feel strongly with Neptune and the Knight of Cups here that there's a need to really look at something properly, and there may be something going on that can be hard to look at or hard to see, where it's like, I wish it were a different way, potentially. There's just something here about needing to have a very disciplined eye when you're assessing something, and it has to do with a message is what I'm seeing. So at first, you may interpret a message in a particular way, but then later on you may see it from a different point of view. And I'm seeing something here hanging in the balances, the Queen of Cups and the Ace of Cups. And so this feels like something that's going on an emotional level for you. So I want to say this too, maybe for some of you, you have somebody reaching out and wanting to connect with you, and because you want to connect emotionally, that could be how you interpret this, but it may be something else that's going to happen with you and this person. So, thinking about Queen of Cups and Ace of Cups, this is like, when I'm getting involved in something, like what am I actually looking to connect with? And which chapters do I want to open? And Six of Swords is like continuing to move forward, sort of once we've thought about that and once we've reflected on that. And then I'm seeing Three of Pentacles and I'm seeing the Hermit. So this is a moment where you can be thinking about like an interaction with somebody, or a collaboration with someone, or a situation that you have with somebody. And then we see Three of Cups and we see Six of Pentacles here. So it can be like, if I get together with this person, if I connect with this person, like, do our values align? Am I going to feel like this is a good use of my time? And is this actually aligned with what I'm looking for? I'm seeing Aries and Virgo. And Pluto and Neptune. And some of you may have a Pluto-Neptune aspecting one another in your chart and or in your synastry with this person. I don't think this is going to be the thing for you. So this is you thinking about something and being like, if I connect with this person, if I go into this situation, like, is it going to be fair? Is it going to be even? Or am I going to be begging for crumbs here? Are they going to take too much from me? Am I going to give too much, or vice versa? Like, is it balanced between us? And I feel like and there's this thought too of like, if I hang out with them. So it feels like if I reconcile with them, if I connect with them. But having Ace of Cups here makes it feel like you don't regularly see this person, or it's potentially a new person. But for some of you, I'm seeing you do know this person. So that being said, this is you really thinking about that. Like, what is that actually going to look like? Like, when we have that interaction, what is that going to look like? And then to have the Ten of Swords, it seems like you look at this and you're like, it's not going to be what I want it to be. Like, it's not, I don't think that this is compatible, you'll find. And that doesn't mean that, like, that's not an issue on the other person's end. It's not an issue on your end. Something just isn't compatible. So it doesn't mean that's anybody's fault. Like, there's no fault to be had within this. Something just, like, doesn't work. And having 10 of Swords, now coming over here and being connected with the Emperor, this is you looking at something and needing to do the difficult thing. Because the Emperor is feeling kind of like the Strength card, where it's like you needing to do something where it has to be like a disciplined choice that you're making. So you can complete a cycle that needs to be closed out. So things can continue, you know, so your story can continue. But some of you had an ending with this person and they're coming back around. Ten of Swords, King of Cups, needing to sort of get your bearings emotionally after the cycle closes out. Ten of Swords is usually like a bit of a sharp ending. It can feel a bit unpleasant as it's closing out. King of Cups is you doing what you need to do emotionally for yourself and also learning from this as well. Having this Page of Swords next to the King of Cups, it's sort of like watching your response to this situation to learn more and to adapt more and to gain more awareness emotionally, more understanding. Some of you too, like you have people around you that you feel like are, when I say people, like some of you, I get the energy of there being like maybe a child, like maybe an older child around you that's watching you go through this and watching how you're handling yourself. Like for some of you, I'm definitely seeing there be a younger person or a younger energy around you that's watching you very, very closely, how on an emotional level you're handling something that's very challenging. So 10 of Swords can be something where it's like, it can feel devastating. It can feel really hard. It can be something that is a lot mentally for us. And so there's like stuff psychologically that's happening within this that can really sort of like fry you a bit mentally. And then how you respond to this emotionally. And there's definitely like I'm learning about myself as I'm moving through this, but as I said before, for some of you, I'm seeing a younger energy around you. So there may be like somebody that you caretake, or you could be a parent, or like a teacher of some sort, like something about you having like the audience of somebody sort of watching you and how you're handling this. And they're learning from you is what I'm seeing. Yeah, the way that this Three of Swords, I know this reading is kind of heavy, but we got to work through it in order to get out to the other side. Seeing this Three of Swords here connected with the Hermit and also the Three of Pentacles, it seems to me like, yeah, okay. in the beginning I said this, right? That there's a cautionary tale about needing to make sure that you're not projecting a fantasy onto a situation because it's going to lead to a tower. So taking the time now to look at something and be like, realistically, like when I'm looking at this clearly without my preferences, like what's actually going on here and does this align? We get to this point here. This is like pain because I wanted something to be a particular way and that did not align. So this is what we end with. So it's sort of like needing to move forward in light of this. This is also a valuable moment too, because as much as it can be really enjoyable for us to get what we want, when we get what we don't want, it's also telling us more about what we do want as well, and like making that more clear for us. So sometimes we don't even find ourselves in these situations because we can almost like spot it right away and not have to go through all of this. So you're learning as you're going through this, even if it's more of a like unpleasant cycle or a more challenging cycle, difficult, tiring, treacherous. But I'm seeing us end here. This is very important. I'm seeing us end here with the Ace of Swords, which means that there is like a full comprehension and understanding now. And we start with the Judgment. So Judgment is like all about getting to that point of the Ace of Swords. Judgment is like, I want to see things clearly. This is that moment of like, I'm seeing things clearly now. So I do feel like after things conclude, you are doing what you need to emotionally. And for some of you, with this person watching you, when I say person, I mean like a child or something, or like somebody younger around. Like it can be a younger sibling or a child, something like that. I'm getting this person be very close to you, like very strong energy connected with yours. So they see you as somebody that, like I'm seeing them see you as a very adult energy, and I'm seeing them be super observant of you, whoever this person is. So you're moving forward and sort of figuring out what you're going to be doing next while sort of nursing a bit of a broken heart is what it seems like, or just some painful experience that you've been moving through with this person. So let me just take another look at this and see what's up here. Yeah, I feel like something was presented to you. Could have at first thought it was going to be one thing, it ended up being something else. Then it feels like someone reached out to another person, but it looked like they had sort of moved forward. So it can be like reaching out to somebody and they're like not there anymore, you know, something like this, or like they've moved forward or they've moved on because they felt like they needed to, and went into a reflective period thinking about their values. And then I'm seeing things like officially end at that point, after like a period of maybe silence or something like that with the Hermit, because somebody was thinking about reciprocity, you know, like their values, their expectations, what they wanted, what they need, what they're looking for. And then I'm seeing Ten of Swords, which seems like somebody found the answer to that, and that it was like something wasn't compatible, something wasn't going to work. And then I'm seeing sort of the response to this be somebody needing to ground their energy and cope with this as best as they possibly can, while still moving forward and still also processing through all of this. I do feel like in the long run, you're going to look back at this and be like, I know and I understand that it needed to come to an end. It wasn't easy for me, but that was the right call with Judgment and the Emperor. Because this is needing to look at something and be like, how is this going to impact my life? And like, do I want my life to look like this? And is this something that I want to carry on? And so Judgment and the Emperor can be like needing to make that tough call, but it's like you're the one that has to do it. And you know that, like, it's your life. There's a sense of accountability here and ownership. And so it can be like doing the difficult thing now, but being better off for it, because you know that this chapter is meant to be closing out. I do feel too like something was communicated that may have been interpreted one way initially and then maybe interpreted a different way or another way, or like something happened that maybe later on we gain a different perspective of. Like maybe when something occurs, you see it one way, and then a little bit later down the line, it looks like something else happens, or like you see it differently. Something like this. It also seems too that after the fact there is a conversation that happens, meaning something could have ended between you and another person, and then later down the line there's a conversation between you and this person that maybe gives you like a bit of a release from this situation. So there's more of emotion here of like understanding one's feelings and trying to find that balance between the masculine and the feminine water energy. So masculine energy is sort of like what you're doing emotionally and what you're initiating emotionally, and also like how you're handling things too. And also like locking it up, it can be just needing to stay grounded while still being present to what it is that you're feeling and being honest and true to that. And then balancing that with the Queen of Cups energy, which is all about what you're feeling and what you're doing in response to that, and like how much you're feeling and how open your heart is and what's going on emotionally for you, and learning from that. So I feel like there are coping strategies being deployed, and there's also just a lot of overall all-around feeling with all of this water and the water court cards. And there's also processing too with the Page of Swords. There's like a learning from what you're experiencing emotionally, and also learning too like what you're trying to connect with. You see things that you like within this situation, you're like, I want more of that. You see things that you don't like within the situation, I want less of that. So there's like a curating that's happening here. So we have Ace of Cups, which feels like a connection that you had with somebody, but then we have Six of Swords, which feels like there was potential for a connection, but we're moving on from it. We may be moving forward. And it looks like we're moving forward to plan something. And so that's sort of where I'm seeing you be now. And then what I'm looking at is Three of Pentacles, Hermit, and Three of Swords. And I'm also seeing Three of Cups, lots of threes. So I feel like you're in hermit mode right now, thinking about sort of like what's gone down between you and this person. Like Three of Pentacles is really feeling like thinking about all of the interactions and experiences you had with them. It's like all of the working situations that you had with this person, and you in hermit mode thinking about this, just like reflecting on all of those things. What was said in the conversations, what the exchanges were that were happening, what you learned, what you liked, what you didn't like. It's just feels like an overall review. And then I'm seeing Three of Swords, so it's like there can also be like pain that's being processed in the meantime. There can be feelings of, I don't know, just feelings that you have about this that feels like it's being processed. Maybe some stuff that's more difficult to process. And what I feel like you conclude with Three of Swords leading into Three of Cups is like wanting something to be reconciled and wanting there to be reciprocity, and that really like sitting on your heart as something that you want here. So it feels like all of this stuff happened with you and this person, and then just know too that Hermit can be somebody else's energy reflecting on this situation as well. So Hermit is somebody's energy within this reading, and they're looking at like everything that's gone down, and they're thinking about like every interaction that you guys had with one another. And there's like a recognition too of like the pain, of the hurt. But maybe this wasn't something that they were seeing before. So it can be a moment where somebody's like, wow, I'm like really gaining empathy for that other person's perspective. It can be a moment like that. And Three of Cups can be this desire of, now that I'm recognizing that, now that I've seen that, there can be a desire to want to do something about it. Like, I want to correct things. I want to make it right. I want to fix things. And then having Six of Pentacles, it can be like wanting to give back. I didn't show up how I wanted to show up, and so now I want to actually show up. And having the Nine of Cups, it's like that may be really what somebody wants to do. But for some of you, this is going to be happening like after the fact of the situation, okay? Did I say the zodiacs? I was seeing Aries definitely strongly and Virgo. Let me see if there's anybody else. No, I think that's about it. Yeah. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.